Okay, so when it comes to adding and subtracting with algebra, we can only add and subtract like terms. Now, terms are like the building blocks of our equations. So in this situation here, we have two blocks joined together. We have our 6a block and we have our 2a block. Now, both of these numbers have a sign in front of them, but with the 6, we won't write a sign there if it is the first term in our equation. So the 6 actually has an invisible plus next to it, but we don't write it. If it was a minus 6a, then we would write it. So we always write the negative signs, but if it's the first term and it's positive, then we don't usually write the sign there. So in this problem, we've got two blocks, and we'd say that they're both A blocks. So that's because in both of these terms, in both of these blocks, the letter part of it is exactly the same, and that's the letter A. So because they're exactly the same, we can just go ahead and add together how many lots of A we've got. So in this first one here, 6A means 6 times A. So remember, in algebra we don't show the multiplication signs. And this block here means 2 times A. So if we've got 6 lots of A and we're adding that together with 2 lots of A, how many lots of A do we have? We've got 8 lots of A. Let's look at another one. So if we've got 14A plus 3A, take 5. I'm going to find out what this equals. Again, I suggest while you're learning this to draw the Lego blocks around it. It will really help you to be able to work out what you can add and subtract. So in this example, we have 3 Lego blocks, and remember, I'm calling them Lego blocks, but really the mathsy word is terms. So we have 3 terms, and we can only add together terms which are the same. So we're looking for terms which either have a letter in them or that maybe don't have any letter at all. So we can see here that these first two, the 14A and the 3A, they're both A blocks. So we could add them together. 14A plus 3A is 17A. And then our last block is a bit different because that doesn't have an A, so that is a different type of block to the other two. And because there's nothing else that's similar to it, we can't do anything with it. So that just ends up getting tacked on to the end there. And so our answer is 17A minus 5. All right, let's have a look at a slightly different example. So if we have 3A squared plus 4A, we want to find out what that equals. Now, when we first look at this, we can see that they've both got an A in them. That's pretty obvious, isn't it? There's the A and there's the A there. But the trouble is, this A in this one here has got something else going on with it. It's squared. And that's just an abbreviation for A times A. So in our second Lego block, we've just got 1 lot of A, but in this first Lego block, we've actually got 2 lots of A in there. So even though at first they might look like they're the same kind of block, they're actually not. They're different types of blocks. So we could draw that with a different colour to show that that's a different type of block. And because they're different, we can't actually add or subtract them. So our answer would end up being basically the same as what it is at the start. We actually can't do anything with that until we get some more information about what A might be. But for now, they're just going to stay like that. So let's do one more problem together. Let's do 5A minus 3A squared plus 6A plus 5A squared. So to solve this, let's go ahead and draw in our Lego blocks. So we'll draw that around the whole lot. Now just remember, the first one has that invisible sign quite often. So that's already got a sign, and so we're going to draw the line down there. And so we should always have a sign in front of our number. So we're going to draw our blocks in like that. Now we can just use a different colour to show the different types of blocks. So we've got an A block here. This is an A squared block, so that's a bit different. This one here is another A block, so we can draw that one in red as well. And the last one is another A squared block, so that's different again. So now when we come to add it, we're only going to be adding together the blocks which are the same type. So just as sort of like an in-between step, we could write this as 5A plus 6A. So just bringing together those two blocks which are the same. And then we could write the rest of it just as it is, so minus 3A squared plus 5A squared. And now we can do the cleanup in the last row. So if we've got 5A plus 6A, that's 11A. If we've got minus 3A squared plus 5A squared, then starting at minus 3 and adding 5, that will take us up to positive 2. So we end up with positive 2A squared. And that's our answer. So when you're adding and subtracting, it's really important to look at those different terms, those different Lego blocks. You need to look really carefully to make sure that they are exactly the same as far as like the letter part of it. And if they're the same, then you can go ahead and add and subtract them. But if they're different,